Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to the Humble Servant Homestead, guys. Yes, we are out here in the garden getting ready to give a quick garden update, a quick garden tour. It's not a whole lot that is going on inside of the garden. Now, I know that you also have been looking for some gardening videos. Kind of took a little bit of break until it was springtime because yes, it is springtime, and so yes, we are on the ground running. Just coming on out here to make sure we have everything in order that we need to go ahead and plant out this this spring, right? Now, before we get into it, yes, we are in grow zone 8A, and what month is this? Well,
It's
not
March.
what month. This is March the 19th, guys. And we just want to show you all what has been going on. Yes, there has already been some work in the garden. Yes, there has been some work in the garden. But if you all also remember, what I was going to do was just give you all a quick garden tour of the mulch that we put down inside of the garden. And I told my wife, I said, hey, you know what? Instead of just doing this tour about the wood chip inside of the garden, we're just going to go ahead and give you all a full garden update. All right, so of course, we do like to start right here at the beginning of the garden, guys. And now I'm picking to see which side am I going to start on.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do, we're going to start here on my right and your left, where we have our herbs planted inside of the garden. Now, if you all notice, some areas look like there's nothing in there, but there is some stuff planted in this area that will be germinating right as the time get right, as the soil temperature get right for them to germinate. Now, this right here was some parsley that we planted out in the fall, guys. And as you all can see, they didn't really do well during the winter months. They did kind of slow down growing, and that is with a lot of the things that you plant out in your garden. In the fall, you get real nice vigorous growth. Once winter get around and those colder days start coming, things tend to slow down inside of the garden. So keep that in mind. And of course, if you all remember, right here is our thyme. Now, this thyme right here must have been with us for about 3 years now. Going on 3 years. This thyme is still going. It is still striving. Now, I came on in just the other day, and what I did, I went ahead and lifted up because, as y'all can see, it is matting on out. And I lifted up and I said, you know what? I'm going to come on in with some fresh soil, and I'm going to also prune up a lot of this dead stuff. But it's not all dead, guys. Keep that in mind. What it is, as it's sprawled out on in this area here, some of the stuff from last year that is dead, but there is still live pieces from off of these small little branches right here. So we have to be careful when we come on in to prune it on up. But I'm going to, yes, put some fresh soil in here and also put in a drip system so I don't have to hand water these herb beds this year. All right, so that is our thyme. It is still kicking, looking real nice and lush. And so yes, let's move on over here on the other side before we go on. Okay, and so right here in this area, as you all can see, it looks like there's nothing planted in here. But yes, guess what is planted in here this year, guys? We have potatoes planted in this area right here. And yes, the other bed, we have more potatoes that we will be planting in either sometime today or tomorrow. And so we just want to go ahead and plant these potatoes on out, get them in the ground. And as you all can see, what I did, I come on in with some goat manure on the top, and hey, they're just waiting to germinate. But if you want to see how we go about planting our potatoes here on the homestead, we have quite a bit of videos that you can go ahead and check on out. so that way you can see how we go about planting them. Now also stay tuned because I do have some more potatoes that we're going to be planting and some things, and stay tuned for that. I want to take you all along with us as well. But come on over.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you measured this bed? How long is it?
You know what? I have not measured this bed yet. Most of these garden beds, they have not been measured, and I think we're going to do a video on that, measuring out these garden beds to see how long and how wide they are. Now I know the width of this is 5 feet. Okay. Now as far as the length go, I don't know. All right. So, but hey,
It's long.
yes, it is long, and it's a lot of potatoes.
Yeah.
If you all remember how I go about with the drill and drill those holes, maybe say every 1 foot or so. And so right here is probably about 6 potatoes in this area right here.
Okay.
So we kind of cut it a little bit short. Like I said, these bed is about 5 inches wide.
5 feet wide.
5 feet wide, but we did kind of get them in there relatively somewhat,
Closer?
maybe say 10 inches or so apart, so we can get a little bit more potatoes.
So you have 6 rows of potatoes in here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So trust me, we have a lot of potatoes to dig 90 days from now.
Right. I look forward to it.
Yes, we are looking forward to it, but hey, I'm praying that we get quite a bit out of here, and just to see, hey, what it do for us. Okay. All right, so come on over here. This right here is our other raised bed. Now this one is a bit tall. I'll say it's right at about close to 2 feet tall off the ground. And yes, we do have some beautiful soil in here, and we are going to plant potato in this bed here as well, because yes, we do have quite a bit of potatoes that was left over from last year that we went to seed, and that is what we will be planting on out in this area right here, guys. And what that does, it kind of helps me to not spend out a whole lot of money to buy seed potatoes. We already have seed potatoes ready, available to plant out. So keep in mind, if you plant potatoes from last year, if you store them well, you can come back and you can go ahead and replant from those potatoes.
So what you were saying is that the potatoes that we're planting this year, the seed potatoes, are our potatoes from last year. We didn't have to buy any seed potatoes this year?
No, we did not. And stay tuned. We will show y'all some of those seed potatoes so you can see how they are looking.
Nice.
They're looking fairly decent, you know, to plant on out.
Absolutely.
So, hey, and it is picked from some of the smaller potatoes. We do have some big ones in there as well.
Well, that's what they sell at the store, small potatoes.
Yes, and hey, I'm
plantable.
Right, and I'm just happy I'm able to replant back our potatoes.
Right.
So right on up here, I don't want to skip this bed and then have to walk back down. So we're going to do this bed right here.
Okay.
And what we have right here in this bed here, guys, as you all can see, hey, the days are getting warmer and the plants are loving it. But what we have here is some cilantro, guys. Now, if you all know, we have these cilantros here on the homestead, and hey, it is a good medicine, good plant.
Nice herb.
Nice herb that you can plant on your property. Very easy to plant. Right now, especially if you have cilantro seeds right now, all you have to do, you don't have to start them inside, guys, okay? And I'm going to tell you why, and I'll show you why. I like to show you better than I can tell you. You simply just come on out, sprinkle them on outside in the ground, cover them over, and guess what? You will have cilantro just like this. Now, what I typically like to do when I come on outside, of course, my leaves that are a little bit higher off the ground, I'll go ahead, pick one. Let me check under the bottom first. Typically, I like to check to make sure there's no bugs.
Extra protein.
And just like that, not just extra protein, but also a heavy metal detox.
I'm talking about the bugs.
The bugs?
Yeah, extra protein.
I don't think I want no protein from those bugs, right? But nonetheless, that's what that is. And it's just so fresh. It is sweet.
Fragrant.
Just a real nice taste to it, you know. So nothing like growing your own food, your own fresh food here on your homestead. And that is what we want to push to each and every one of you all out there, to get on outside and get in the dirt, guys, and grow your own food. The weather is perfect for it. We are now in springtime. So now is that time when things are ready to go out in the ground. So
this is ready to harvest.
yes, this is ready to harvest, and I believe we will do a little harvesting maybe later on down before, because as it gets warm and as it gets big, if you don't come on out and harvest it in time, you will notice that it will start to try to go ahead and bolt, especially as the days start to warm up. Okay, but that's what this is, cilantro. If you, hey, and also we do have some seeds that we will be dropping in our. Just keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
We're going to try and get some of these seeds in the store. All right. So if you come on over here, also what we have, I know you all remember these plants. I believe, was it a video I did? Or just came. Okay.
It was a video.
It was a video. So as you all can see, what this is those strawberries. If you all been following these videos, remember these strawberries that were planted out there. Was not
in the winter.
In the winter time, yes. Was not looking nothing like this right here, guys. But we came on out, plant them out right at around that time, because strawberries typically like to go in right at about, I'll say right at about late fall. That way the root structure can go ahead and get established in the soil, and then you can expect some real nice, beautiful strawberries. Right now, like I said, springtime is the ideal time to get outside and start planting, guys. Simple reason why, the days are a whole lot cooler. You're looking at 70 degrees, and that is what the plants love. 70 degrees weather. Hey, we also love 70 degrees weather as well. And so the plant, they strive off of that 70-degree weather. Of course, as you all know, we just about don't do anything here on the homestead without our goat manure, and that is what I lay on the top of this right here. And
they're doing well.
it's doing
And I want to
really
tell them a
well.
little tip or a secret that I learned from a U-pick operation, a strawberry U-pick operation. Most people think that strawberries are supposed to be planted in the springtime.
Right.
Actually, if you check with a U-pick operation, they plant their strawberry plants in the fall time. And that helps them establish their roots and get in place. And then that way, next spring, they start to produce those strawberries that you go in to pick. If you notice, our strawberries are already putting on flowers.
Absolutely. And they're getting ready to go. As you all can see, those real nice, bright leaves. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have not came on in here just as yet with any fertilizers, guys. Any fertilizer, all this is just compost down, broken down, goat manure, and that is all these strawberries are striving off of, okay? And they look really well. I don't think they have even filled out just as yet, but I know as time goes on, we'll give you all another update on the strawberries. So I guess we'll talk right here and work our way down. What you think?
That's fine.
Okay, and so yes, right in this area right here, guys, is where we are getting ready to plant out cabbage. Okay, now I did promise you all that I am going to come on in and show you all how we go about planting our cabbage. Now, a lot of you all want to know, how do we get cabbage not looking like this?
Well, that's an old one.
Yes, this is an older cabbage. How do we get cabbage to grow so big here on the homestead? And we're going to go through that. I believe we're going to try and do a video.
We'll do a video
before we lose sunlight, and just go through the breakdown to have you all to grow great cabbage on your property, on your homestead. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk, I guess I'll talk a little bit about this, or do it when we do the cabbage video.
It's up to you. Or do it when you do the cabbage video.
When we do the cabbage video, so that way you all have something to look forward to.
Okay.
All right,
but these cabbages are from the fall. Yeah.
Yes. And so that's what I was going to talk about a little bit. But I'm not going to let you drag me out to give the information on that now. But come on, stay tuned. In the next video, when we plant out the cabbage, I will talk about these cabbage a little bit, and so that way just to bring a little bit more knowledge and edification on these plants right here. Come on along,
Okay.
camera lady. And as you all can see, we have these beds right here prepped and ready. So that way, we have, and I'll talk about these beds once we come on in to plant those cabbage.
Yep.
And so right in this area right here, guys, if you all remember, last year when we came on in and harvest those potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, yes. On this side here of this bed, we found a whole lot of mycelium. Now, mycelium is not a bad fungus to have inside of your garden, but when you have too much mycelium, it can become a bad thing, because what's happening, that mycelium is going to help your soil to kind of breathe and absorb the moisture, but when there's too much moisture in here, that thing just grow crazy. And that's what's going on inside of here. If you all notice, all this mycelium here, guys. And so what it does, if you notice how the soil is just powdery, the plants are not able to get the nutrients that it need because of all this mycelium that is in the soil. And so yes, we had to come on in, if you all can see, and take all of this soil out. Now, what I did do with some of the soil that didn't have a whole lot of mycelium in it, I went ahead and bring it on over here onto my beds, just to kind of help me to have some organic matter inside of these rows right here. But what I'm going to probably do, the plan for this bed right here, I'm going to make it short like the other neighboring bed. Then also I'm probably going to put a 3.5 foot walk space right here in the middle and make it 4 foot wide instead of 5 foot wide, a little bit too wide for us. And so, and I knew that going in, but decided I wanted to do it anyway. And so as I restructure it, I will go ahead and build it 4 foot wide. And
okay, so you'll make those adjustments when you break it down.
Right.
Okay.
And so I may still leave half of it the way how it is, because of course, if you all remember, this is our culture bed, guys, that we went ahead and created when we first started. Now, sometimes it's good to go back and watch those older videos, because you can see where this garden has
transformation.
Yes, the transformation of where this garden has been coming from right here. And I bucked up one of those stumps right here when I was digging, and that right there is from a old plum tree.
Wow.
That was all, you remember the plum trees that was in this area?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. And we had cucumbers.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's what that you see going all the way back from when we started doing videos and just running this homestead here.
Yeah.
Sometime I was like, oh man, there was plum trees in this area.
Yeah.
But since then, it has been transformed.
Transformed.
So go back, watch those older videos, so that way you can catch up to speed to see how the transformation happened here on the homestead on this property. Okay, so come on along, camera lady. And I know you all can see those chickens there in the background. They have a tendency, I guess whenever I'm not home, they find a way out. And when they find a way out, this is where they come. And of course, this garden is loaded with earthworms. And so they'll come on in and they will go to scratching and leave me with more work to come back on in and clean up. But what I make sure I do, my gates are closed, and try to keep them on over there, because they want what we want. They want the veggies as well. Okay, and so come on along, we're going to keep on going. So right in here we do have some kale, Lacianata kale that is starting to go to seed, and we're going to see if we let them go to seed or not. But I believe I'm going to pull them on up, because I do need the garden space. Plus we have lots of Lacianata seed from last year, so we're probably going to pull them on up, feed them to the chickens, because like I said, chickens, they love greens as well. All right, so Over here we have a little bit of curly kale. Of course, as you all can see, it is time for us to come on in and just start taking all this old stuff on out, take out the old and get ready for the new. Behind us, what we have is some red Russian kale. We have 2 rows of red Russian kale that are they're doing okay. We could come on in and maybe put a little bit of fish emulsion on them, give them a boost, and hey, as a matter of fact, they're actually looking really well. You know, I think the way how they should be good. I'll come on in and start pulling off those dead leaves that are down at the bottom. Try to keep out these roly-polies because we have a lot of roly-polies now, more than we can handle here on the homestead. All right, so like I said, 2 rows of our red Russian kale. Right in here is this bed that I'm also getting ready. I'm going to come on in with some compost, goat manure compost on the top and just put on top of this other goat manure that I've cleaned out of the goat pen and just get it ready to plant on in. You know, but so far everything is looking all right. And we're just waiting to get everything planted out so you all can see what it's going to look like. And so right here, if you come on, we have our garlic. Now this is garlic that we planted out from last year. So over here we did 4 rows of garlic, guys. Some we did at the end of November, I believe, the end of November, which is these one right here. And those ones, come on, I'll show you. And this is what the chicken did. You see that right there. He came on in and damaged, of course, my garlic. But that's all right. That's all right. It happens. You know, it happens. But we'll just have to come on in and pick up the pieces. And so right here, these ones is when I planted these out in January, guys. I came on in, planted them out a little bit earlier. See how they would do, and also we can go ahead and not having to harvest all those garlic all at once, because if you plant them all at the same time, they all get ready at the same time, and yes, you have to come on in and pull them. But what I do notice though, it could be from us planting them out in January, cause them to be growing a little bit slow. That's what I've noticed with them. They are moving a little bit slow, but I believe, hey, only time will tell to see what we get from these garlics right here.
And I was saying, I'm excited for the experiment that we have coming this year about the garlic.
Right.
So we have those that were planted in November, and these and those that were planted in January. And so stay tuned for the harvest video when these are ready and what we plan on doing at that time.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So we're looking forward to it. We're going to see, like I said, they are moving a little bit slow. Not as vigorous growth as those that were planted out in November. But hey, we'll see what happens.
I think they'll take off once it gets consistently warmer.
Well,
I think the cold and hot right now it has them confused a little bit.
Could be, but time will tell. We'll see what happens as time goes on.
Absolutely.
All right, so come on, we're going to...
What's that?
This right here is
Mustard
greens. Yes. A lone survivor. Some kind of way he is still standing up over here.
That sounds like dinner.
Looking real nice.
Yeah, that sounds like dinner.
Yeah, look like it's ready to be harvested.
Yeah.
Okay. Soil is nice and moist.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice and moist. Okay, and so here we are. Come on down. This right here is where we have some collard greens planted on out, guys. Now I'm going to let this collard greens right here go to seed, so that way we can have some seeds ready available in the store with these collard greens. But as y'all can see, yes, they're bolting. They're bolting. They're ready to start putting seeds on out.
And these were planted in the fall, right?
Yes, these was planted out in the fall, and that's one of the things I want to talk about that I was going to talk about in the
And we'll
cabbage
still
video,
talk about it in the cabbage
and we'll
video.
still talk about it. But typically they'll say, hey, brassicas take about 2 years or so before you can get seeds from them. Not really necessarily the case. You plant these brassicas right here in the fall, guys. Once spring comes around and the days start getting warmer, those plants that you plant in the fall, they will start bolting. Now, one of the things, if you plant them in the spring like right now, what's going to have to happen, they're going to have to go through the winter, and then in the spring, then they'll go ahead and bolt. But if you want some seeds from your brassicas, plant them out in the fall time, and then the upcoming spring you will be able to get seeds from them. Okay, so keep that in mind if you want seeds from your brassicas. All right. Now I'm going to tell you, when it comes to your the Chinese lettuce, and also the bok choy and stuff like that, if you plant them out, once it gets hot, guess what's going to happen?
They're going to
bolt.
Yeah.
Same thing with lettuce as well. Once it start getting hot, they will start bolting. Okay. All right, so come on over here. What we also have right here is some bunching onions, guys. Okay, right now they're starting to go to seed. The weather just been up and down, but I know pretty soon we'll get that consistent weather. But bunching onions, what they typically do, you come on in and you plant one of these onions right here, guys. And as they grow and as time goes on, guess what? That one onion will eventually split into two. Okay, you leave it for a little while, and if you notice right over here, you see there is now 3 bunching onions right here coming from just one plant. Now, what I like to do here inside of the garden, and I'm going to show you guys how to go about increasing your bunching onions on your homestead. Okay, now I am not talking about your regular onions. Typically, if you use your regular onions, and once they start growing, yes, they will bunch out just like these right here. But what will happen eventually, because for it to go through that process, that means it's going to start going to seed. And so if you plant those out, what's going to happen, you're going to get seed heads from those onions that you plant back on out that took shoot inside of your house, in your pantry, or anything of that nature. But what I like to do here with these bunching onions, if you notice, we have this one right here that just bunched out, put on some new bunch. We like to come on over here, and I pray I pull it out. Yep, I got me some roots. And so what I like to do, because all this is just coming from one plant. All right, now what I like to do, as I harvest, I don't come and I harvest all these onions out all at once.
Right.
What I'll do, I'll just go ahead, pull one from here, and I'll go ahead and plant it right back in the soil, just like that. Okay, and we could separate this one here as well and plant it on out somewhere. But say for instance you come on out here and you want to harvest some bunching onions, what I would typically do, I will pull an onion from one that put out 2. Okay, and so that way you could pull it, plant it back, pull it, use it in the kitchen, and the cycle will keep on going instead of you having to plant bunching onions every year. You already have it here, they will keep on produce for you. Okay, now we do have some that is starting to go ahead and start putting seed heads on. I may let some of them put seed heads on, and I may pull some of the seed heads off, so that way we can keep on getting that cycle going, so we can keep on harvesting bunching onions. Okay, so right in here is where we have some more cilantro. Now, like I said, you can go ahead and plant your cilantros on out in the fall time, in the springtime, guys. Okay, so if you notice, I came and I throw some seeds on out maybe about a week ago now, and as y'all can see, we have some real great germination from these cilantro right here and on down. And look at here, I'll show you here as well. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at that. More beautiful, beautiful cilantro, guys. Ready to be harvested. And hey.
And I know it seems like a lot, guys, but I actually make cilantro capsules because, again, our main use for cilantro here on our homestead is as a heavy metal detox. So we consume it in capsule form, as well as sprinkling it in food.
And cooking, because
yes,
that cilantro taste in the food is delicious.
Absolutely.
Okay, so right in here also what we have is some elephant garlic. So one of the things is I'm going to come on in and put a little bit of fertilizer on them just to give them a little bit of boost, so that the way they can go ahead and take off. All right, so right over here what we have is more bunching onions. Now I'm going to tell you, this one right here have about 4 coming from out of just one plant. But I will be coming on out to start harvesting and also start replanting some more of these onions right here. And hey, I think we are going around, and as y'all can see, these beds right here, they are empty for right now, but they are ready, because like I said, what we're doing here in most of the garden here on the homestead, guys, is making no-till beds. Simple reason why, just cutting down on a lot of that manual labor here on the homestead. For 3 years, like I said, we came on in and we got these beds right here established, putting in organic matter, just so we can go ahead and start doing it this way. Okay, so I know that these beds, they're good with organic matter in them. Now when we come on in, we still will add more organic matter on these beds, because believe it or not, your earthworms that is in the soil, when you put that organic matter inside of these beds, what those earthworms, they will do, they will come on up, they will eat that organic matter, and they go back down into the soil, especially in the heat of the day. And what you think they do? The worm casting, they let it back on down into the soil. And so that's why when you put organic matter on these beds, yes, the ground do settle over a period of time, but the worm also drag some of that back down into the soil, guys. Okay, so right over here, I did tell you all that we come on, we'll walk on over here, camera lady.
Okay.
So one of the things is that I did tell you all that we're going to come on in with a project, coming on in to redo the borders for these no-till bed right here. This, believe it or not, was our first no-till bed that we did here on the homestead. And how do we like it? We absolutely love it. Simple reason why, when it comes to weeds on the property here in these no-till beds, it's at a minimum. Okay, you come on in, you put your organic matter, and you don't really have to deal with a whole lot of weeds in these beds right here. Now, one of the things, as y'all can see, we do have some onions planted on out in this area, and that is why I'm running my drip system right now to go ahead and water up this area so they can get a real good drink, so that way we have it, hey, have them grow really well. All right, so I believe that right there is pretty much it. Like I said, stay tuned. I want to come on in when we go ahead and put the borders on in for this no-till bed right here. That is why it hasn't been done as yet, because I did say I was going to take you all along with me, and I like to be a man of my word. If I say I'm going to take you along, I want to actually take you all along. Okay, those excess strawberries that we pulled, and we had some left, I did came on in and put them on out inside of this no-till bed right here. All right, And so, hey, I guess for the garden, that is what it is
For the top garden.
Yes, for the top garden, that is what it is looking like. And one of my prayer is that we have everybody have a great, successful growing season this year. Now we still have a little bit of daylight on now. That's going to be it for this video. I want to say thank you all for coming on through on this walk and just stopping by the Humble Servant Homestead. And as always, peace and blessings to each and every one of you all out there. You remember, you keep a smile on your face, you be happy, you be cheerful, and you be blessed. Remember, keep your head on a swivel. Until next time, I will catch you all in another video. Have a blessed day.